Hi, John Maxwell here. I'm so glad you're with me on Minute with Maxwell, and I would like to talk to you about a thought today that I just feel is worthy of your consideration. I think in our world we overvalue smart people. Now, we need them, and maybe it's because I'm not the smartest person in the world that maybe I think they're overvalued, and I could be really wrong on this, but I do think we overvalue, forget smart people, I think we overvalue what I call smart thinking. It's the kid who in the classroom has his hand up first when the teacher asks the question and he's got the answer. And everybody looks over at Raymond or they look over at Susan and realize that they're quicker than everybody else, smarter than everybody else. They're going to get the A, I'm going to get the B, C, or whatever's kind of left. But they're at the top and I'm not there. But they're smart. And so therefore we say, wow, I wish I was smart like that. And we kind of almost sometimes wish to have that brain power, that giftedness. I think that what is undervalued is sustained thinking. I don't think smart thinking is a choice. I think you're either smart or you aren't. To be honest with you, I think it's a gift, okay? So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't work hard and mentally improve ourselves, but if I work hard and mentally improve myself, I'm still not going to be as smart people. Smart people are smart. I'm not that smart, okay? But sustained thinking, I can do that. You can do that. Sustained thinking is within the reach of every person, so let me pull this out for you and share with you why I think sustained thinking is undervalued and smart thinking is overvalued. If you came to me today and said, John, you got a choice. You can either be smart, but not sustain the thoughts that you have. I mean, you just put them out the first time and they're kind of brilliant and everybody applauds. Or you can not be that smart, but you can have the power, the willpower, the discipline to stay with a thought for a good period of time and develop a thought. I would choose 100% every time to be a sustained thinker over a smart thinker, and here's why. No matter how smart you are, if you're around sustained thinking and you don't continue your smart thinking and make it long and thought-provoking and a process, I tell you, a sustained thinker will always, in the end, have a better thought than a smart thinker. Let me explain it. Research proves this, by the way. They've done research where they put 10 people in a room. And after an hour, and the 10 people will discuss an idea. After an hour, 5 of them will leave, and they're no longer going to be working on that idea, but the 5 remaining stay another hour, and they work on the idea that began an hour before. In every case study, the 5 who stayed, now look at this, there's less people at 5 than there was with 10, but the 5 people that stayed every time came up with better thoughts on the idea than the 5 who left. And it's very simple. Why did they do it? Because they spent longer on the thought. They spent longer on the idea. I teach often that we're never good the first time, and I believe that's true with ideas or thoughts. I get ideas, and I think, well, that's a good idea, but it's not a great idea. It's just a beginning, an initial idea. And so what makes a great idea is you get a good idea, another good idea, and you put them together, and after a while you can birth a great idea. Here's the point. There's never been a great idea, there's never been a great thought that was not sustained. It was worked on, tweaked, changed, built on, added to. And so what I say to you is, I am really committed to sustained thinking. And I make it a real practice in my life to take a thought and to mark that thought and let it work in my life for a period sometimes of months. And so when people hear me say things and say, oh my gosh, that's brilliant, there's no brilliance here. Everything that I have, that if it's brilliant or insightful or has a depth of wisdom to it, it's not because I'm exceedingly wise or exceedingly smart. It's because I'm committed to taking a thought and holding it long enough to make it a good thought, and then maybe a better thought, and sometime maybe even a great thought. And I say that to you because not every one of us can be smart, but every one of us can choose to sustain, to hold on to work, to think through, to marinate the thoughts that we have in our life. And I just challenge you that because I would imagine every one of you have something that you've thought about and you thought, ooh, this could change my life. Well, I think it changes your life, not because you thought of it. I think it changes your life because you lived with it. And I think that's where the change happens. The change doesn't happen mentally, it happens experientially. And that's, again, living the thought, breathing the thought, experimenting with the thought, asking questions about the thought. So I just simply say to you that when people say you're only a thought away from a good idea, I would say you're only a sustained thought away from a good idea. If it's worth thinking a little longer, and if it's worth thinking a little longer, it will get better. So a great thought is a result of a sustained thought. I don't think it's a result of a smart thought. It begins with a smart thought, maybe, but it becomes great because you stayed with it long enough to make it great. So think about something that you need to be thinking about, and keep thinking about it until it becomes what you really want it to be.